There are only three things your money can do for you. Just three. It can be safe, it can be available when you need it, and it can grow. But here's the part what most people never understand or they're never told by their investment guy. And that is you can only ever have two of those three at the same time, never all three together. And I really believe that once you understand this one idea, retirement planning starts to make a whole lot more sense. I'm Darren Vilardo with Tekton Wealth Advisors, and I've spent almost 30 years helping people just like you get ready for retirement. And almost every mistake I see comes back to someone expecting one account to do all three things at once. And I'm here to tell you that would just be too good to be true because it just can't. So let me show you how this actually works and where your money should sit depending on what you need it to do. So picture a triangle, very simple math here, third grade level, if you will, right? Picture a triangle, three corners. We've got safety, liquidity, and growth. Now let me define each one of those in plain English, then I'll walk you through the actual tools that live on each side of that triangle because this is where it gets useful. Now, safety just means that your principal is protected. You're not going to lose money to a market drop. Liquidity means you can get to your money quickly without penalties whenever you need it. And growth means your money has the chance, the opportunity to increase over time. Importantly, that can outpace inflation. So here's the rule. You can connect any two corners. You can't have all three. So let's walk these three sides and I'll show you what actually belongs in each one. Take a look at this triangle now. On the left side, you have safety plus liquidity. Safety plus liquidity, you give up growth. This is your sleep at night money. Safe, and you can get to it fast. Here's what lives in these categories, if you will, right? It's your bank assets, checking and savings accounts, the most liquid money you've got. FDIC insured, but unfortunately earning almost nothing. You've got your high yield savings and money market accounts. Same safety, same easy access, a little bit more yield. CDs or certificates of deposit. You lock the money up for maybe a short-term period, 6 months, 9 months, a year, whatever. Often those CDs have an escape clause that let you get out with no penalty. Again, slightly better rate there. Still safe, still liquid, perhaps a little less because of a potential early withdrawal penalty. Then you have Treasury Bills. These are short-term U.S. government debt. About as close to risk-free as exists. The interest is exempt from state and local tax. You've got money market funds. These hold a basket of those ultra-short, high-quality instruments like treasuries, right? Built to stay at a stable $1 share price. We call that the par rate, if you will, or the dollar peg. All of these share the same trade-off. You give up growth. So after taxes and after inflation, money parked in this safe and liquid side of the triangle here is often simply losing ground, although quietly. Not the dramatic market losses, but you're losing ground to inflation. And that's okay because that's the job of this money, to be readily available when you need it. The mistake is keeping your entire life savings here or a disproportionate amount of your liquid assets here and then wondering why it never grows. Okay, the bottom side of the triangle, growth and liquidity. Growth and liquidity, you give up safety. This is your market money, real growth potential, and you can usually sell and get your cash in a day or two. And here are the type of instruments that live here. We're talking about your individual stocks, the most growth potential, the most ups and downs, right? We talked about this before, short-term volatility, long-term potential for real wealth building. The same is true with mutual funds and ETFs, baskets of stocks or bonds, so you're more diversified than simply betting on one company. Index funds, these just track the whole market like the S&P 500 and usually are very, very low cost. You've got bonds and bond funds, calmer, arguably more safe than stocks, but not guaranteed because when interest rates rise, existing bond prices fall. Now, across all of these instruments, you've given up safety. The market doesn't owe you a good year. And here's the part that really matters. In retirement, if the market drops 20 or 30% right when you're starting to pull income out, that can do real permanent damage. There's a name for that, and it's called sequence of returns risk. It's why we often keep a year or two or more of expenses in safe, liquid money. So you're never forced to sell your longer term investments when they're down simply to pay your electric bill. Okay, now let's look at the right side of the triangle, growth and safety. With growth and safety, you give up some liquidity. But this is a corner that most people don't even know exists, where you have principal that is absolutely protected from market losses, but still exposed to growth that's better than a bank account. Now, here's what lives here. This is primarily the world of fixed products like index annuities, maybe even a multi-year guaranteed annuity called a MYGA, right? These are instruments where you have growth that's based on a market index, but you can't lose principal to a market drop. Well, that sounds too good to be true, Darren. Well, the trade-off is you give up some of the upside. There's usually a cap on how much you earn in a great year. With a multi-year guaranteed annuities, think of these almost as an annuity version of a CD. They lock in a guaranteed rate for a set number of years. They grow tax deferred. Fixed annuities, a simple guaranteed rate, predictable and steady. The trade-off on this whole side is liquidity. These contracts have surrender periods, often 5 years to 10 years, that limit how much you can pull out early. Though most do let you take it around 10% a year without a penalty. So it's not locked in a vault, but it's not your emergency fund or readily accessible either. And I want to be straight with you here because that matters to me. Look, an annuity is not magic. It's not a silver bullet, and it's not for every dollar you own. If there's any chance you'll need that money in the next few years, then quite frankly, it does not belong on that side of the triangle. It does not belong in an annuity. It's just one tool. Now, the whole skill of retirement planning is knowing which tool does which job. So, look, all three sides, the aha moment. Do you see what's happening here? There's no perfect account. Anyone who tells you they've got something that's totally safe, totally liquid, and grows like market or has market-like returns over the last period of 5 years, 8 years, whatever back testing analogies that they do, I would be careful and I would take a real close look at that because that's just not how money works. So the goal is never to find the perfect corner. The goal is to own all three sides on purpose. And here's the exact amount, right? It's matching the right amount in each one of those sides to the job that you need it to do. Matching that precisely to the job that you need it to do. So let me make this very, very real. I sat down with a couple recently, and I'll keep this very general, right? They were very proud that they had almost everything in the bank, completely safe, completely available, but they were terrified because deep down they knew that it quite frankly was not growing enough in these inflationary times that we've been experiencing, and they were really watching inflation erode their purchasing power. They were fearful. They had two corners and they were missing the third. Now, across the table, I've also met folks who had nearly everything in the stock market, which is fantastic during the good years, but a couple years from retirement with no protection underneath, no safety net, shall we say. One bad stretch and the whole plan is at risk. And here's what I told both of those couples. And it's the heart of how we do things here at Tekton Wealth. We're not trying to win a corner. We build what we call our proprietary process, your retirement masterpiece. Basically, it includes reliable income that you can count on, risk that's managed, and growth for the long haul to help you keep up with inflation, maintain your purchasing power so that you can maintain your dignity and your lifestyle throughout retirement. And that means having some money that's safe and liquid for today, some money that's growing for tomorrow, and some money that's protected but still growing for the in-between. Every dollar with a job. That's when people stop worrying. That's when they finally get to say, hey, I think we're going to be okay. And we see that physical relief, the aha moment, we like to call it, right? So let's bring it home. 3 things your money can do. It can be safe, it can be available, and it can grow. You get 2 at a time, never all 3. Bank money gives you safety and access. The market gives you growth and access. And tools like a fixed index annuity give you growth and safety. None of them is wrong. They're just built for different jobs. So the real question isn't which one is best. It's, does each dollar I own know what job it's doing and that it's supposed to be doing? See, most people have never looked at it that way. And by the way, if you're not sure where your money actually sits on this triangle, that's exactly the kind of thing that we help with. So look, we'd love to have a conversation with you about your particular situation to see if you already have, or what you have is allocated across those 3 sides of the triangle. And if you'd like to talk it through, you can schedule a call with us at Tekton Wealth Advisors. Remember, we're here to serve you, not sell you. I'm Darren Vilardo. Thank you so much. God bless.